What's up guys, my name is Ashley Salvatori from 24karatketo.com, and today we're talking about protein, ways that you can lower your protein, different ideas for your meal planning, as well as do you really need to worry about protein with the ketogenic, low carb, high fat lifestyle. So welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because guys, I have like a ton of new stuff coming for you regarding this topic of the ketogenic lifestyle, tips and tricks to help you get your best results. I'm someone who actually lost over 70 pounds following a low carb, high fat diet. You can check out my transformation video here on my channel. And now I help others get amazing results following this type of plan. And so today we're talking about protein. Do you need to be concerned with it? Do you need to worry about it? Is it you hear that too much protein can cause your body to turn it into glucose, which glucose obviously will kick you out of ketosis. So obviously you don't want to be kicked out of ketosis when you're following the ketogenic diet. And I do have a beginner's guide which explains all of this in detail. If this is like totally foreign for you, I'll pop the little card up here to check that out. But here's the thing, you really don't have to worry about protein unless a couple things happen. First, if you hit a plateau. If you hit a plateau and you think you're eating too much protein and you're kind of stalled out, you might want to consider then scaling back your protein, and I'll give you some ways here in a little bit. If you're just getting started on this lifestyle, it's very common to basically eat a lot of protein and very little fats. So that's one common mistake. And when we say like, don't eat too much protein, what we mean is you don't want your entire meal to just be like chicken and no fats. You want to add in the healthy fats in there and you want to kind of balance it out. Now there's the macronutrients that you want to be following. The majority of your calories in your day should come from fat. Now a lot of times when you're trying to get started on balancing your macros, it can be really difficult to get to that 70% fat. A lot of times people end up being around 30 to 40% protein at first, which is normal as you're learning the lifestyle and all of these things. Now, different ways that you can start adding more fats into your meal planning is by adding butter to your foods. Sour cream is a great way to add fat to your meal. Also, the more fat you have in your meal, along with the protein and the carbohydrates coming from vegetable sources, the fuller you'll be and the longer you'll be able to go in between meals, which is ideal for the ketogenic diet. So you definitely can add in healthier fats that way. Now, one thing that you want to consider as well is adding in guacamole. Now, I'm like just avocados, mash them up. You can even get some store-bought brand. That's one thing that will help you add some fats to your meal. So like, let's say you're making chicken and you add some guacamole to that, you're adding the fats to that meal. So you're not gonna be eating as much chicken because you have the guacamole in there, right? So that's one tip. And if you're having like a salad, all of these things, now you can just add some sliced chicken to the top of that. Ideally though, you want to look at meats that have a higher fat content, like ground beef at a high, like an 80% lean, or steak, that sort of thing. There's fat within the protein. Now the thing is, I don't want you guys worrying about too much protein because you're not really going to, from the research I've done and the studies I've looked over, it's not the big fear of I'm eating too much protein, so I'm not gonna be able to do the ketogenic diet, all of these things. Your body literally doesn't just, you don't just ingest the protein and then it doesn't just convert it into glucose and store it as fat. It's not like that. So it's not really comparable to as if you ate a carb heavy meal that is glucose and what happens in your system compared to eating too much protein. Now, a lot of people wonder, what is too much protein? Well, from the research I've done, and this could be different for everyone, so it's not really a one size fits all thing, and you really have no way to know exactly how much protein you should be eating for yourself because our bodies are all totally different. However, one very easy formula that I've found is if you take 0.8 and multiply that by your body weight, you're gonna get an ideal gram number for your day. So like if you weigh 150 pounds, multiply that by 0.8, that's 120 grams at the low end. Now you can go up to 1, multiplying it by 1, so obviously 150 would be 150 grams of protein throughout your day so that you're not eating too much protein. Now the thing is, like, you just don't want your entire, like, everything you eat to just be protein. That's where the beginners make the mistake, because they get started on this and they don't know what to eat, so they just eat a lot of like meats. They just eat a lot of meats. And so it's okay if you do that. Don't beat yourself up. You're gonna learn. And the big thing is you wanna be adding things to the app. I really like the Carb Manager app. That way you can start tracking the foods that you're eating and you can start seeing how you can tweak things, different meals that you're making to add more fat to them. Maybe you're adding more oil. Don't try to just add more fat without scaling back the protein, if that makes sense. Like if you find that you're heavier on the protein side and you're trying to balance that micro wheel, don't just throw a bunch more fat onto that. You know what I mean? Like if you want to stay within your calorie budget balance, because obviously calories in, calories out do matter, even with the ketogenic diet. So if you're eating 1,200 calories, this is just an example, in your day, and then 60% of that came from protein, don't throw extra fat in your day just to try to get that wheel balanced and then kick you over your calories. What you want to do is just start learning how you can integrate more fats into your meals that you're eating earlier in the day to kind of balance it. And you can do this by pre-adding everything into your app for your day. Do it ahead of time so you can see, you know, what the balance should be. Now, if you end up being higher in protein, I really wouldn't worry about it too much, like I said, unless you hit a stall in your weight loss. However, there are so many benefits to eating a meal plan that is lower in protein, just not even weight loss related, but you're gonna feel better, for one thing. A lot of people do. I feel much better when I eat less protein in my day than when I'm eating a ton of protein. So that's one thing. I do know there have been some research that connects too much protein with cancer and all of these things. So a lot of times people try to scale back their protein intake, not even just for weight loss, but as far as the ketogenic diet, you know, some people will tell you that if you have too much protein, it's gonna kick you out of ketosis. But from the overwhelming research that I've done on this topic, I have seen that actually, you know, there really is no difference. You can be eating a little bit more protein in your day and do that for an extended period of time, and you're not gonna see a big difference compared to adding more fat in there if the calories are the same. So it's really based on you, but I know beginners, like let's just talk about the beginners who are like, I don't know what to eat because I'm eating so much protein and it's a lot of lean meat and I don't know how to add the extra fat in there. So for me, I've been scaling back on my cheese intake. I've been trying to like cut that down. Literally, I'm like low cheese to no cheese a day. So that's where I definitely recommend the guacamole in there. But your first meal, you can do a fat coffee, it's called, where you add butter to coffee, maybe a little stevia, you blend that up. There are some other things you can add to that. There is this product, Keto Cream, that I really like, that makes like a fat coffee. And so you blend it, and that's your meal, your first meal of the day. And you can do that and integrate that in with intermittent fasting, which allows you to eat in a smaller window. So you're not gonna be eating as much protein, because if you're eating all day long, 12 hours a day, you're gonna find that splitting it up into more meals in the day, you're going to end up eating more protein because you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be trying to fill yourself up. So it's actually better to have 2 or 3 larger meals, not really snack during the day if you can help it, and having a meal that doesn't have protein will help you balance your total protein grams for the rest of the day. So like, I like to have my fat coffee, and that is like my first meal. My fat coffee is my first meal. It keeps me full. It allows me to not have protein in that meal. And then my next meal, if I'm still trying to reduce the amount of protein I'm having, like maybe you just want to test yourself to see if you need to lower your protein if you are in a plateau, then I have this great recipe that it's like a string bean casserole, and I'll put the link up here for that. And basically it's string beans, it's cream cheese, sour cream, and then you put cheese on top of that. And you can put veggies on there too, and bake that. And it's lower in protein in that you're not adding like chicken to that or beef to that or anything like that that's gonna be higher in the protein side. But that really, I mean, it works really well into the ketogenic diet because it is perfect macros. So you can do that. If you wanted a meal that just is lower in protein, you can do a salad, you know, with like those lower carbohydrate vegetables on top with olive oil and vinegar. I know, and even cheese, that's fine. I know a lot of people like to have meat in their salad, and that's totally understandable. But if you're trying to reduce the amount of protein you're having, just my main suggestion would be try to have one of your meals that has just a low amount of protein, so that if you have more on the back end of the day or somewhere in the day on these other two meals, it's okay. You're not going to be eating way too much protein, because when you cut out carbohydrates, that's the thing, you're cutting out carbohydrates and then you're left with fats and protein. So a lot of times people are so afraid of eating too much fat or don't know how to add more fat to their diet, and you're trying to stay at, but I think as long as you focus on staying under 20 net carbs or right around 20 net carbs, and you get into this lifestyle, and even if you are eating too much protein at first, eventually you're gonna get the hang of it, and don't be too hard on yourself and just keep moving forward, and eventually you'll be able to balance those macros a little better as you learn to cook and eat the foods that you like, and make them in a way that is filled with the healthy fats and not too much protein in there. I do have these meal plans that are incredible to help you get some ideas and what to eat with grocery lists and all of that on my blog, 24karatketo.com. If you're looking for ideas as well as some recipes there also. And so check that out if you need some ideas. But that's pretty much it for protein. Don't be too hard on yourself. These are the ways that you can literally try to minimize the protein within your day, in that you're going to have one meal where you don't have any like animal sources of protein other than like cheese in there, and then the other two meals, then you're not going to be eating like overly protein unless you're literally just eating meat and that's it. Like you need to kind of balance your meal. Definitely adding the sour cream, adding cream cheese. Cheese is really an easy way. For me, I love to add the guacamole and the avocados, like I said earlier. So you really just have to find what works for you. If too much cheese is an issue for you, definitely go for the guacamole. Healthy oils, all of those things help. Don't stress yourself out, because too much stress is another issue for the ketogenic diet. You don't want to be stressing yourself out and causing that cortisol spike there. So thanks guys for watching this video. I hope if you found it helpful to you, and good luck to your ketogenic journey. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys, take care.